All those years ago when I was in Tottenham's youth team, one specific spectator was guaranteed to attend the local derby.You would see him standing on the sidelines at Arsenal's London Colney training ground, studying every kick and move. I wouldn't say he had an aura, but you were never in any doubt that he knew everything there was to know about football. His name was Arsene Wenger. This was the late 1990s and he was relatively new to our country, but I'll never forget how Arsenal's manager, regardless of how busy he was, would make a point of attending these games. He was a man in total control of his club and the results he achieved were spectacular. Wenger changed the face of English football. When he arrived, there was nobody like him and he revitalized the league. He was the shining light for a new era, and those teams he molded to win 2 doubles and then go unbeaten in 2003-04 were among the best we have ever seen. After that, he kept them in the Champions League places, without spending a great deal of money, for 21 straight seasons. Arsenal's foreign owners can't have been too disappointed with the return he gave them for their investment, in the same way fans can't be upset about the trophies he has won. It's important to make that point. The day Wenger leaves Arsenal, the only word you will hear said about him is legend. The supporters will want to talk about those early years, how he became a legendary figure, and the only arguments will be about which end of the stadium his statue goes. Some of the treatment he has received has been very disrespectful. He has won the FA Cup 3 times in 4 years, but that isn't enough for some people. How can that be? At the vast majority of other clubs, you would be viewed as the greatest team in history if you did the same. To say it's not enough for Arsenal is disrespectful to Wenger and to the competition itself. All the top boys are desperate to get their hands on the FA Cup, and to do what he did was unbelievable, really. It's an achievement that should have them dancing in the streets. But watching the events of the past week, when Manchester City had blown them away twice, I just find this whole situation so very, very sad. It's not for me to say whether he should stay or go, but what I can see is the fact he is not addressing the problems we have all known about for years. They say a team is a reflection of its manager, and right now it doesn't look good for Wenger. Arsenal have been crying out for a goalkeeper, a central defender and a dominant central midfielder. If I'm frustrated that those issues haven't been addressed, how must their fans feel? Arsenal are still a team who have it in their locker to embarrass you, particularly at the Emirates Stadium. When it clicks, they can quickly score 3 or 4 without a problem, but they are more and more likely to give you a chance of your own to do damage. I've always enjoyed playing against them. Wenger, like all the top managers, is a bad loser, and he wasn't too complimentary about me in my early days. He called me a basketball player after I scored against his team for Southampton one day, but it never bothered me. Read into this what you will, but I have got 106 goals in the Premier League and 9 of them have been taken off Arsenal, my best haul against one club. It gives you an idea how the same issues, that have been there for such long time, still persist. What it means is they are now finding it hard to challenge for the top 4, and the more that they fall away, the more it leads to fans who idolized Wenger losing respect for him. He never had the presence on the touchline of Sir Alex Ferguson, but everybody admired Wenger. If you love football, you won't take any pleasure from seeing him in such an unpleasant situation. He was a top manager, he is a top manager, but I can understand why, when Arsenal aren't competing in the positions they used to, there is a desire to see change in the man who changed everything. As it looks like I'm not going to get the trip to Russia this summer with England that I wanted, I've been thinking about the players I most want to see in the World Cup. Neymar is right at the top of my list, so it was a concern to see pictures of him in a wheelchair, heading back to Brazil this week with a broken bone in his foot. You would hope, with 3.5 months to the tournament kicking off, that he will be fit, but this is far from ideal. Since he moved to Paris Saint-Germain last summer, I think he's gone up another level. He wanted a stage away from Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez at Barcelona, and while the £198 million transfer fee was huge, his average of a goal per game shows how good he has been in France. The ratio is ridiculously good. Without him in their lineup, I can't see PSG overturning a 3-1 first leg deficit against Real Madrid in the Champions League this week. Brazil would be praying their star man is ready for action in June. Footballers with the gifts of Neymar are what the game should be about. VAR in danger of wrecking game we love. I am yet to be involved directly in a game where a video assistant referee has been used, but I'm dreading the day when our turn comes. When the idea of referees getting assistance was raised, I was 100% behind it. If it was going to be something as quick and simple as goal line technology, where match officials instantly feel a buzz on their watch, how could you not want it? But VAR is proving that fears around it were well placed. Players standing around not knowing what is going on, supporters in the stadium being totally in the dark, referees in an impossible position. It's in danger of wrecking the game we know. Look at it from a striker's point of view. Scoring a goal should lead to spontaneous emotions, but you have got to check now and see whether you will get the green light to celebrate. It's a good job VAR wasn't around in 2006. People might never have got to see the robot had that been the case. There are so many things I don't understand about it. First, why is it only being used in certain games and certain competitions? It feels like the FA Cup and League Cup are devalued because they have been picked for the experiment. Then comes the speed it takes to make a decision. Unfortunately, I have perhaps more knowledge than I would like of being on the bench, and I know what happens on the touchline, especially for live TV games. If you happen to get a contentious penalty decision, the substitutes will ask whoever is Sky's touchline reporter. They have instant access to a TV screen and, within a couple of seconds, they tell us if the decision looks to be correct. Why can't it be that straightforward with VAR? I am all for the game being improved, but, with all these changes, I'm concerned our game will one day become unrecognizable. Magnificent Company is best defender in the league. Manchester City considered spending £75 million on Virgil van Dijk in January and broke their club transfer record to sign £57 million, a Merrick report. It turns out they had a defender of that value in their ranks all along. Vincent Kompany's performance in the Carabao Cup final was magnificent, and he proved emphatically why he is the best defender in the Premier League when he is fit. In that kind of mood, he is a beast and showed why his name can be placed alongside the defensive greats. I've played against him loads of times. The first thing to say is that he's physically strong. When you come up against defenders whose key asset is strength, you know there will be areas you can catch them out, maybe with pace or positioning. Strong defenders don't tend to be quick, but he is. Kompany has everything. He is adequate on the ball, passing isn't his forte, but he is a leader and an organizer. If you try and beat him in a race, he has the pace to catch you. He is powerful and will never be bullied. There is no tool to defend that he hasn't got. John Terry, Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand in their heyday were the top three I played against, but I wouldn't have any hesitation of mentioning Kompany in the same category.